200,000 photographs, 30 years of our life. Every trip, every face, every moment that mattered is in here somewhere, and the pile got far too big to see. This is PhotoDance, and here's how it helps us find the meaning again. Take one photo. To us, it's a couple, in front of a mosaic in Barcelona. To a computer, it's only this, a grid of numbers. Who's in it, where it was, whether it mattered. None of that is in the pixels. That's what PhotoDance works out. And it doesn't start from nothing. Every photo carries a hidden tag the camera wrote, the date, the camera, and often the location. Before PhotoDance reads a single pixel, that tag already tells it a lot. Here's the whole archive, every photograph represented by a single point, laid out and stacked across the years with each photo painted its dominant color. We start in 1999 and end with the most recent year. That long stretch of blue in 2011 is from whale watching in Cabo. We can hover over any point and see a thumbnail of the picture. This patch of red is from the Tulip Festival. If we zoom close enough, we can see small versions of the pictures themselves. This overview lets us see our picture-taking habits. You can see the dip in photos taken during COVID here. If you're curious when in the day a picture was taken, we can switch to a grid view. Laid out as a grid of year by time of day, with 12 a.m. at the top of the screen and 11:59 p.m. at the bottom, the dip shows across every hour, and in the small hours of the morning it falls to almost nothing when we were home, asleep. In this flat view, it's hard to feel the size of the change. Switch to a stacked three-dimensional view, each tower a pile of photos, and the COVID years fall away into a deep chasm. And where the camera saved a location, we can lay everything out on a map, everywhere we've been. Pan, zoom, select, and filter, all by where a photo was taken. Back to the timeline. Double-click any year and it breaks open, the same photos rearranged by month. Here's 2022, and December was a year-end trip to Mexico. Go one level further and it breaks down by day. And at any point, we can browse whatever we're focused on, paging through larger versions of the photos or double-clicking to see a photo at full size and zoom in to see it in detail and get everything the camera saved. But the camera only recorded so much. So we set out to teach the collection what each picture actually holds. We go through a series of steps to get these photos into PhotoDance and make the collection more usable. We won't talk about them all, just some highlights. More than 227,000 photos pour in, from cloud services like Amazon, Google, and Apple Photos, and from higher-end cameras cataloged in Lightroom. A very big shoebox. And they don't arrive empty. The platforms had already clustered faces and detected objects, and we'd done our own work. We starred our favorites, named a few faces, and made albums. Rather than throw any of it away, PhotoDance keeps it all as a starting point. But many of those files are copies. Exact duplicates are dropped in a blink. Near copies, a JPEG of a HEIC. A visual fingerprint catches, even when the bytes differ. And bursts of nearly the same shot fold together, surfacing the best and keeping the rest. 250,000 files becomes about 160,000 real photos. So much of our life is in these photos, and so much of that is the people in them. Pin down who's who, and everything else about a photo gets richer. Amazon started the work, clustering faces across many photos, labels, but not where each face sits. PhotoDance continues it, adding more clusters of its own, and finding where each face sits in every photo. When a photo has just one face, its label is certain, and that certainty spreads to the crowded photos, sorting out who's who. We confirm the guesses Amazon made or add the ones it missed, and each name we add flows onto every other photo that person is in. Now the payoff. Ask for one person, Renata, and every photo she's in across nearly 30 years gathers in a heartbeat, a whole life in pictures, selected from the pile in an instant. Now ask for another, here's Rosa, and every picture that has both Renata and Rosa are just a click away. Finally, we filter by Ruth, and we can find every picture Renata is in with her two grandmothers. PhotoDance's philosophy is to keep nearly everything, but to help us surface what's worth seeing. We use many different vision models to help with this. They read the pixels and return a number for sharpness, for that soft, blurred background, for how striking a photo is. Several models, each with an opinion, and every picture lands somewhere on each curve. But best depends on who's asking. Trained on what the internet admires, these scores disagreed with the photos we'd actually starred. So we tune one more model to our own taste, and the more we rate, the more it reflects what we like. We can use any of these scores to sort or filter the collection. Every archive has throwaways. Lay the photos out by brightness, and the near black frames pull to one end. We grab them, flip through, all unusable, and in a single gesture, keep everything but those. We do the same for sharpness. The blurriest slide out to the edge, and out they go too. We don't delete them. You never know when the only shot of a moment is a dim, blurry one. So instead of throwing them away, we build a working set of just the keepers, everything sharp and bright enough, and the rest sit outside it, out of sight until we want one. The large-scale AI Open Network, or Lion model, is one of many that we compute. We can select the top-scoring pictures from it and browse them. It prioritizes a generic human visual appeal, and you'll see some classic paintings from our collection scoring highly. Sort by Nima instead, and the taste turns technical. Clean geometry, strong lines, a well-built frame. Ask for a National Geographic eye, and it hunts for the striking. A bold subject, a soft background, the frame that could run in the magazine. But the judge that matters most is our own. Our taste, tuned to the photos we actually starred, lands on a different mix again. The ones we'd keep. But more than appearance, we want the meaning of a photo. A model places every photo as a point in a vast space where nearness means similar meaning. Beaches near beaches, food near food, faces in a neighborhood of their own. And words live in that same space. Forest, flowers, a sandy beach. Each word drops into the region where those photos gather. So when we ask for something, outdoor art, it lands right where this photo sits. And meaning becomes something you can look up. So far the photo has scores and coordinates, but no one has put it into words. A model reads the pixels, patch by patch, and writes a sentence, one word at a time. A smiling couple in front of a colorful mosaic. Pixels became language. But it's a stranger's sentence. It sees what's there, not who they are or where. But we know who, the faces told us, and we can find where. Remember that luggage tag, the raw coordinate the camera wrote down? Look it up against a map of the world, and it becomes a place, Park Way in Barcelona. Now we have the pieces the sentence was missing. Fuse them in, and it rewrites itself. The strangers, a smiling couple, becomes Lourdes and Stephen at Parkway in Barcelona. No single model knew that sentence. The vision model couldn't name them. The map couldn't see. It took all of them together to write it. No one remembers a single photo. They remember the moment, a dinner, a hike, an afternoon. PhotoDance folds photos into events, events into outings, and outings into whole trips. A hierarchy, each one sized by how many photos it holds. PhotoDance labels each from the captions inside it, so the collection becomes a browsable shelf of named moments. Here's a single year, 2018. When we open the event view, PhotoDance watches for the gaps between your shots, and every time you stop shooting for a while, it closes one event and opens the next. No tags, no folders. The rhythm of when you photograph does the cutting, and each block is a moment it named on its own. The strip beneath each card is the actual photos linked to the event. We can see right away how many pictures make up the event, and hovering over a photo brings up a thumbnail and highlights the corresponding event. Step back, and the events gather up, outings in blue, and the trips that hold them in green. Take our long European trip through France, Spain, and Germany. Double-click the trip and it opens into its sub-trips and where each one went. Let's open up Spain, which held our strolls through Parkway, the Dalí Museum, and cycling along the Costa Brava. And any event can be browsed to see the photos inside. PhotoDance uses these events to share information between photos. Our old cameras had no GPS, but our phones did. Take one afternoon watching whales from the shore in Maui, nearly 800 shots from the big camera, none with a location of its own, but interspersed among them in time, a handful of iPhone photos that did. Each stranded shot simply borrows the location of the nearest phone photo in time. Do that across the whole collection, and nearly 9,000 more photos land on the map, from about 66,000 located to 75,000. So a photo can borrow what its neighbors already know. Every layer we've added is a guess: who a face is, where a shot was taken, and guesses can be wrong. But the same browsing, filtering, and selecting we use to explore is also how we check them. When a view surfaces something that can't be right, we open it. For example, we can search for Renata's grandfather Arlindo and find him across the collection. But he passed away in 2015, and there are pictures of him later than that. Here he is in 2016. The view didn't hide that contradiction. It surfaced it. Open it, and it's an old print scanned years later. The date is when it was digitized, not when it was taken. One click and we set it right. Select, filter, browse. The ordinary grammar of looking is also how we check what the machine believed. Now let's find things we'd nearly lost. Renata at the piano with her other grandfather Arno, a concert pianist, gone in 2019. Search for it by words, and there it is. Take our favorite dinner in Barcelona. We couldn't remember the name, but we remembered going up to the rooftop for pictures before our table was ready. Ask for that, and PhotoDance narrows it down to the place, the wonderful food, the name on the door, even the menu. But the real power is that it's all one space, seen from different perspectives. Find a single memory: sea turtles hatching one dawn. Put those photos on the map. Was it Mexico, Hawaii, the Galapagos? So lift them into time, different shores, different years, each visit its own thread. Move between the views, and the meaning reassembles, the where and the when. The one morning the sand came alive, and to feature just one frame by a National Geographic eye, the striking, not the merely sharp. The best rises to the top, a beach in the morning sun, 100 new turtles making for the sea. A lifetime of photos doesn't mean much if you can't find your way through it. And that's what PhotoDance is for, making 30 years of pictures something you can actually explore.